Hi everyone, welcome back to another video from Westknows Tech News and Reviews. Today we'll be talking about the Amazfit Bip 3 versus the Amazfit GTS 4 Mini. So I've been getting quite a few questions in the comments below my videos. Well, why do I have to splash out that 100 quid or 120 bucks for the GTS 4 Mini when I can get the Bip 3 which looks almost like it? Well, it's not just the looks. And it's not just the price. These are not the only differences between these two watches. And so in this video, we'll be covering the overlaps and the gaps. Let's do it. If you are new to Westknows Tech News and Reviews, we talk about the latest tech news. We do brutally honest reviews and share hacks and tricks along the way. So we'll be doing this comparison video in the usual manner. First, we'll discuss the design differences, then we'll talk about the display differences, and then we'll get into the features and functions. So we'll understand where are the overlaps, where are the gaps between these two smartwatches. So let's get on to design first. So we can see that both of these watches do have a rectangular face, almost square but not quite. First thing that really hits you is that the Amazfit GTS 4 Mini does look more bling. It looks more bright, more premium, but why? Well, firstly, it's the aluminium alloy watch case. It does get your attention. It's slightly shiny and it's not as basic as just a plastic watch case as you get with the Bip 3. Now, you will also notice that the colors on the Bip 3 look washed out. Well, slightly more washed out, but we'll talk about it when we'll get into the display section. Now, in regards to the straps, well, both of these watches use a very similar kind of strap, and they are the silicone straps, 20 millimeters and quick release. So that means that it's very easy for you to go out there and change your straps to anything. You can buy them from third parties. They're quite cheap, but you can get leather ones, steel ones, whatever you want. But if we look at the straps that you actually get with the watch, well, with the Amazfit Bip 3, you just get the classic watch type clasp. Yep, so this is really easy to use, easy to put on, easy to take off, very secure hold. But with the Amazfit GTS 4 Mini, you get the classic watch type clasp, but also a tuck-in feature. Right, so this does give you a bit of a better hold onto your wrist. It just seems like the strap really pushes the watch into your wrist and it feels a bit more convenient and just a more tight fit, which I do like, especially if you're gonna go out, get sweaty while doing exercises. If we talk about the more premium design of the Amazfit GTS 4 Mini, this is quite evident at the back of your smartwatches. Basically, at the back of your Bip 3, you get very coarse gray plastic. This does not look premium whatsoever. While on the Amazfit GTS 4 Mini, your back is, well, it's not metal, it's not ceramic, but it's glossy black plastic. So again, this is not something you'll be looking at, but hey, there is a difference, even when you twirl the watches just to have a look around them. The Amazfit GTS 4 Mini looks more premium whichever way you turn it. If we talk about the lugs, well, there are some on the 4 Mini and they're plastic, which is not amazing. But with the Bip 3, there are no lugs. The straps are actually integrated into the watch case, and that gives it a sort of sporty look. Well, it's better than plastic lugs in my opinion. Now, both of these smartwatches actually have buttons on the right hand side of the watch case. Now, if we look at the 4 Mini first, we can see that the button is aluminium alloy, just like the watch case. On top of that, there is an engraving with the Amazfit logo on the button, and that just gives it that very nice touch. If we look on the button on the Bip 3, well, it's a very basic. Yeah, it feels like it's not plastic. I think it is aluminium, but there's no engraving of any kind, and it's just so basic. So once again, the premium does stay with the 4 Mini. Now let's talk about the display, because there are major gaps here. Well, the fact is, when you look at the 4 Mini, And this display, it's sharp, it's clear, it's so super duper bright. Well, that's because this is a 1.65 inch AMOLED display. On the BIP 3, yeah, you get 1.69 inch, but it's not AMOLED. This is TFT LCD. As well as that, on the 4 Mini you get 309 ppi. That is pretty high resolution for a budget smartwatch. While the BIP 3 gets only 218 ppi. So we are looking at almost a 45% increase in resolution on the 4 Mini. That is something to write home about, definitely. Well, you do get tempered glass on both of these screens, which is great. You also get anti-fingerprint coatings on both of these displays, which is great. But from my experience, it just looks that I am getting more smudges left on the BIP 3 versus the 4 Mini. So there we go. Also, in regards to the display on these two watches, well, the 4 Mini gets auto brightness and you get always on display. With the BIP 3, there's no AOD, that's aka no always on display, and there's also no auto brightness. It's just the manual brightness setting where there's a lever and you can move it up, make it brighter or less bright. That's it. So again, the functionality in regards to display on the 4 Mini absolutely destroys the one on the BIP 3. So let's start off with sports. Well, we know that the BIP 3 actually does not get GPS, but you can get the BIP 3 Pro, which does get GPS. So we're not going to say that the 4 Mini has GPS, the BIP 3 doesn't, because, well, it's a bit irrelevant, right? The BIP 3 Pro does get GPS. But there are more differences. So with the BIP 3, you get 60 sport modes. With the 4 Mini, you get 126 sport modes. So that's more than double. With the BIP 3, you get 4 auto-recognized activities. So you're walking, you're running, as well as your elliptical and rowing exercises. While with the Amazfit GTS 4 Mini, you get 7 auto sport modes. As we mentioned, we should be talking about the differences, but let's cover some of the overlaps. Well, both can do 24/7 heart rate monitoring. Both can do 24/7 stress monitoring. Both can also do continuous SpO2, aka blood oxygen saturation monitoring. Both have great sleep monitoring. That means both of these smartwatches actually monitor your deep, light and REM sleep. At the end of your sleep's rest, you can actually see the points, the number of points that gets allocated for the quality of your sleep. You can see the details of your sleep right on the watch face. But if you want more, then you have to go to your app. So this is something really cool. Both of these watches get Pi, the personal activity index. We all know about it. All Xiaomi watches have Pi, and Amazfit is a sub-brand of Xiaomi. So, personal activity index, what is it? This metric is basically a one single number which sums up your cardiovascular health. It looks at your activity profile over the last week, and it looks at the intensity at which you perform certain exercises. And the higher the intensity, the longer the duration of that exercises, the more Pi points you get. The rule of thumb is that 100 Pi points means that you're 25% less prone to getting heart disease. So make sure to get that 100 points in a week. If you're under, well, that means you need to push slightly harder. If you're over 100, well, that's pretty good effort. Now, there is another huge difference with the 4 Mini. The fact is, it's got an inbuilt microphone, and that means that you can speak into it. There's no speaker though, so the watch doesn't relay or voice any information back to you. But the microphone is there for a reason. It gets inbuilt Alexa. So this is Amazon's AI assistant, and you can use Alexa once you've logged into the Amazon app via the Zepp app. That's the app for the actual watch. You can ask Alexa to tell you a joke, to tell you the weather, to tell you the directions. You can record your shopping list. You can set up alarms. There's so much things that you can do with an AI assistant. So another great feature on a very budget smartwatch, the 4 Mini. Then again, the BIP 3. Look, this is a great smartwatch. It's even more budget than the 4 Mini. well, in fact, it's half price. So with the BIP 3, we're looking at about 50 quid or about 60 bucks. With the 4 Mini, we're looking at 100 quid or 120 bucks. So double. But really, I think you are getting more than double the value, because you get an amazing screen in the 4 Mini, which is AMOLED, 1.65 inches, 126 sport modes. All of them are gold based. You get GPS, and the watch just looks class. Anyways, thank you for watching this comparison review of the Amazfit GTS 4 Mini as well as the Amazfit BIP 3. If you did enjoy it, please drop me a like. If you want to see more of the same, you know what to do. Please hit the red subscribe button below the video, and I'll see you in the next one.